What's up, adventurers? Kelly here from Nerdgasmic Adventures, and today I'm going to tell you about our trip to Austria, a country so beautiful it makes you forget that sometimes even the best laid plans need a little improvisation. Spoiler alert, I decided to throw my usual meticulous planning out the window for a spontaneous vacation. But hey, at least the scenery was Instagram worthy, while I was learning some expensive lessons. So, picture this. We just finished this epic tour from Greece to Croatia, and instead of going home like sensible people, we decided we needed a little vacation because apparently 2 weeks of vacation wasn't enough vacation. We're overachievers like that. Our first red flag should have been boarding what can only be described as a flying lawnmower from Belgrade to Salzburg. I'm pretty sure I've seen bigger planes at air shows that were just there for nostalgia. But you know what? When you're flying into one of the most gorgeous countries on earth, even a paper airplane would be worth it. And speaking of gorgeous, Salzburg. Absolutely stunning. Though apparently they're so confident in their beauty that they don't bother with those fancy jet bridges or buses that greet you at the airplane. Nope. We got the full walk across the tarmac like we're in a 1950s movie experience. I half expected Humphrey Bogart to greet us at customs. Now let me tell you about one of Europe's greatest mysteries: Irish pubs. They're literally everywhere. I'm convinced there's some sort of European Union law requiring at least one Irish pub per square kilometer. And you know what? God bless them for it, because they have cider, and I am a cider man living in a beer world. The food? It's pub food. You know what pub food is. It's the culinary equivalent of a warm hug from someone who's slightly drunk but means well. And honestly, that's exactly what you need after walking across an airport tarmac like you're storming the beaches in Normandy. The next morning, we did the full Salzburg tourist experience. Beautiful fountains, check. Mandatory European church visit, double check. Random person singing Sound of Music songs in the garden, triple check. Because apparently that's just what happens in Salzburg. It's like the city has a soundtrack. But here's where things got weird, and I mean European art installation weird. Someone had tied baby dolls to statues in the park. Baby dolls to statues. I don't know if this was some deep artistic statement about the human condition, or if someone just had too many dolls and not enough storage space. Either way, it was, memorable. Now here's where Kelly's famous "let's try winging it for once" philosophy reared its adventurous head. Instead of doing my usual deep dive research and renting a car like I normally would, I decided we'd take the train to Schladming and just see what happens. It'll be spontaneous, I said. The scenery will be breathtaking, I said. And you know what? I was right about the scenery. Austria's countryside is so beautiful, it makes you want to quit your job and become a landscape photographer. Rolling hills, pristine lakes, mountains that look like they were designed by Disney. It's basically Middle Earth with better Wi-Fi. But here's what they don't tell you in the travel brochures. Rural Austria runs on cash like it's 1987. Uber? What's Uber? Credit cards and taxis? That's adorable, stupid American tourist. So, there we were, two Americans with nothing but plastic money and good intentions trying to convince a taxi driver to trust us. Luckily, we found the world's nicest cab driver, this tiny woman who agreed to take us to an ATM first. I'm pretty sure she could have taken us both in a fight, but she was so sweet we immediately adopted her as our official Schladming transportation consultant. That's an official title, and try to say Schladming a lot of times. It's really, really hard. Schladming itself is like someone took a postcard and made it a real place. It's surrounded by these massive mountains where in winter people ski down like civilized human beings. But in summer, oh no, in summer they grab mountain bikes and throw themselves off cliffs like they're auditioning for Jackass Alpine Edition. Meanwhile, we had legs. Just legs. No bikes, no wings, no common sense. Just legs and the determination of two people who clearly didn't think this through. And can we talk about our grocery shopping strategy? Say that 3 times fast. Grocery shopping strategy, grocery shopping strategy, grocery strategy, yeah, whatever. We walked into that store and bought enough food to survive a zombie apocalypse. Meanwhile, the locals are buying like 3 items because they live here and understand how grocery stores work. We looked like we were prepping for nuclear winter, and they looked like normal humans buying dinner. The cultural exchange was a bit one-sided. Oh, and here's a fun fact I definitely should have researched beforehand. Most people in rural Austria don't speak English. Revolutionary concept, I know. It's almost like when you decide to wing it instead of doing your homework, you miss important details like language barriers. Who could have predicted this shocking turn of events? Me, if I had done my usual research. But the crown jewel of our trip was Hallstatt. Now, Hallstatt is only 14 miles away from Schladming. 14 miles! That's like a 20-minute drive. But because of mountains and Austrian train logic, it's a 2-hour journey. You actually have to take 2 trains to get there. Because apparently, Austrian trains don't believe in straight lines. They believe in scenic routes and testing your patience. And here's the kicker. When you finally get to Hallstatt, you're not actually in Hallstatt. You're across a lake from Hallstatt, looking at it like Moses looking at the promised land. You need to take a ferry that costs money, cash money, because of course it does. So there we were, standing in line with about 200 other tourists, slowly turning into human jerky under the Austrian sun, waiting for our turn to cross this pristine lake to reach tourist Mecca. But let me tell you, it's worth it. Hallstatt is so beautiful, it's actually stupid. It's like someone took every charming European village cliché and made them real. The lake is so clear you can see your financial mistakes reflected in the bottom. The mountains rise up around it like nature's own IMAX theater. You can walk across the entire village in about 15 minutes, which means you'll spend approximately 6 hours trying to get the perfect Instagram shot and then wonder where your day went. And here's my personal victory. I've now visited 2 of the 4 places that rotate on my TV screensaver when it's idle. Hallstatt, check. Lake Bled, check. Then there's Berlin and Bora Bora, 2 places that are going to be next on the list. And I'm coming for you with slightly better planning. Slightly. Back in Schladming, we spent most of our time on our hotel balcony, staring at views that would make National Geographic photographers weep with envy. The only entertainment was Austrian TV, which apparently believes that music videos are still a thing. They had a 24-hour music video channel. It was like MTV from an alternate timeline where they never discovered reality TV. Imagine that! A music television channel that plays music. Who would have thought? What a revolutionary concept. Eventually, we got stir-crazy enough to venture out for an Alpine coaster. I estimated the taxi would cost us about 20 euros. It cost 40 euros. Because apparently when you don't do your usual thorough research, you get to enjoy surprise pricing. How fun. But that Alpine coaster, 3 trips down a mountain on what's essentially a roller coaster designed by someone who clearly doesn't believe in speed limits. It was like Mario Kart, but with more potential for actual injury, but a lot better views. I mean, the views were pretty incredible. Then I tried their ropes course, because I hadn't tested my wife's cardiovascular health enough for one day. Nothing says, I love you, like giving your spouse a heart attack while you swing through trees like a middle-aged Tarzan. The adventure continued on our way back when we discovered that some buses take credit cards and others apparently operate on the barter system. We missed our first bus because cash is still king in your rural Austria, a lesson I apparently need tattooed on my forehead at this point. So we hiked a mile to an ATM in weather that was very pleasant, because even when Austria is inconveniencing you, it's doing it with style. Paragliders were soaring overhead like it was just another Tuesday in paradise. And here I am, down at the bottom, having an existential crisis about bus fare. My wife, in her infinite wisdom and apparent desire to collect life insurance, suggested I try paragliding on our last day. I declined, though I would love to do it someday, maybe next summer, maybe when I've made peace with gravity. Our departure was naturally a perfect bookend to our let's see what happens approach. We got on the wrong train at the wrong time, because when you decide to skip the detailed planning phase, you get to enjoy these little surprises. The conductor gave us a stern talking to about following schedules, which is rich coming from a country where a 14-mile trip takes 2 hours. That's right, Sheila. We ended our trip at another pub in Salzburg, where we taught the owner how to make margaritas. Cultural exchange at its finest. We gave him cocktail knowledge, and he gave us his opinions about American politics. Fair trade. So what did we learn? The same lesson that even experienced travel planners sometimes need to relearn. There's a reason I usually do extensive research, get those bus passes sorted, and book transportation in advance. Sometimes you think you can just wing it for a spontaneous vacation, and Austria gently reminds you why preparation is your friend. Would I go back? Absolutely. Would I rent a car next time? You bet. Would I actually research bus passes and transportation options beforehand? Well, let's not get crazy here. Austria is a country that's so stunning it makes you forgive it for running on a cash-based economy from the Reagan era. The people are lovely, the scenery is unreal, and the whole experience reminded me why we travel in the first place: to make beautiful memories and collect embarrassing stories to tell later. 4 days would have been perfect instead of a week, but honestly, when you're staring at views like these, even your mistakes feel like victories. This is Kelly from Nerdgasmic Adventures saying stay adventured and maybe bring more cash than you think you'll need.